wagashi, wa denoting the Japanese and nagashi meaning dessert. There are some fundamentals that we need to touch on, and since there's so much to touch on, we're going to start with one of the building blocks of wagashi, which is Anko. Now, Anko is a bean paste, and it's made from azuki beans, which are a small red bean. Here we have a variety of red beans, not all azuki, but which are suitable for our purposes for today. Now, these over here are azuki. You can get these at an Asian grocery store, and they'll say dried red bean or azuki. If you buy azuki and it says azuki, it's going to be a lot more expensive. This I got for $1.99, and this I got for $1.29. You can also use these if you're hard up. These are red mung beans, and you can get them very cheaply. And once again, this is more of a substitute than if you can get azuki beans. Try to get those. If you can't get dried azuki beans, and you can't get red mung beans, and you're really, really hard up, you could use red kidney beans. It's not going to be the same thing. It'll be kind of close, but if you live out where you can't get any of this stuff without ordering it online, I recommend you at least try it with what you have. Shiro-an, which means white on. And these are made with lima beans or navy beans, and since I don't have fresh and it's hard to get them, I always use dried beans, which I soak and then use. Subo or subushi-an, and these are kind of like a chunky bean paste, like a whole bean paste. Koshi-an, which is a fine bean paste, which would be like this. Everything has been sieved, the skins have been removed, it's been mashed, and it's a really long drawn out process. But these are made to, this type of on is used to make the more high-end wagashi, the stuff that you would see at chano-yu, which are the tea ceremonies. Also used to make nirikiri, which are, the small, beautiful little bean desserts served with the green tea to offset that bitter flavor. And today we're going to learn to make all sorts of on. Today is all about Anko. We're going to start off with soaking the beans. You need to do this the night before. And I have already done that. And I have, since we're making 2 kinds, I have my lima beans, in which if you don't have lima beans, you can use navy beans, navy or lima beans, and you can get a big old bag of that for about $1.29. And you can make your shiro-an with those. And since I do have access to azuki, I'm going to use these, and I have soaked 1 cup of azuki overnight in this water. And in here, I have 2 cups of lima beans. So this is for shiro-an and shiro-koshi-an, and this is for subu-anko. So first off, we can make this simultaneously by draining the soaked beans. You want to get rid of the water. And another thing the soaking does is it gets rid of the saccharides and sugars which bloat you and make you kind of gaseous. So soaking and getting rid of that water, you want to make sure to get rid of it, helps the digestibility of the beans. You want to get a medium-sized saucepan. Cover the beans. Just cover them. And we're going to bring them over here. And we're going to put it on high. We want to get it to boil as soon as possible. One good thing about it as a dessert food is that it's very filling. It's fairly healthy for you. There's a lot of protein, there's a lot of fiber, and when you make it at home, you can control the amount of sugar you have. And maybe you can even, if you can't have sugar or you're on a restricted diet, you can try using like maybe Splenda or other sweet substitutes, but if you can't, try to use the sugar. I want to show you what we're going to be using today in terms of equipment. The good thing about making this is you don't need much equipment. You need a seat, like this. because you're going to be putting it through there and you're going to be making it nice and fine. You need the back of a spoon to crush it like this. And you need a piece of muslin, like this. I like to use unbleached. It's cheaper. You can get this at fabric stores, and you could probably even get this at cooking stores. But go to a fabric store where it's 99 cents a yard and save yourself some cash. Make sure you wash this first because they put sizing in here to make it stiff and good on the bowl. Get rid of that because you really don't want that in your squishy on. So while that's doing that, we can start making the sugar syrup. Some people use a sugar syrup to sweeten their on, and some people use sugar. It all goes back to what you prefer to do. I like a sugar syrup because it's more concentrated, it's smoother. I don't have to wait for the granules to dissolve. It's already dissolved. I just have to add it and boil it down. So to make sugar syrup, you want to use equal parts of water, which is 1 cup of water, and then equal parts sugar, 1 cup of sugar, because this is concentrated. And to make that, once again, super easy. Put it on high heat and stir to dissolve. See this foam on here? This is going to cause a lot of bitterness. But we're not going to have to worry about that too much because as soon as it boils, we're going both beans, but the azuki is going to boil before the lima. We're going to want to drain it, chuck it in there and get rid of all that. Rinse it out with cold water, put it in there and put it back in there with fresh cold water. This is a process which helps get rid of all the bitterness, and here we are, we're starting to boil. Off you go, and off we drain. There's been some debate as to how many times you do this, how many times you put the cold water in. Do you soak the cold beans? And there's even been some case studies to show whether this process actually produces better tasting beans. And it's inconclusive. I don't think they want to tick off any older Japanese ladies who are kind of set in their ways of making Anko. Put them back in there and cover them just until covered. There's more of that nasty scum. That scum is going to keep us on our toes because we're going to want to come back about every 10 minutes or so and put this back on high for now. We want to get it back to boil for right now. We're going to have to come back every 10 minutes or so and get rid of that scum that's going to make it taste really bad. So while that's heating back up, we have the lima beans. Lima beans tend to froth a whole bunch. So we're going to have to do this quite often. Lima beans also, thankfully, don't take as long to cook as the azuki beans, probably about 45 minutes to an hour. So while we're waiting for that to boil, as you can see, I have my sugar syrup being made. And it's all dissolved. You want it nice and clear. You want to get it to boil for a few seconds to make sure everything's dissolved. And when that's done, we're going to turn it off and set it to the side because the syrup is now made. So getting back to the beans, you want to keep them covered at all times, skimming off the top.